From Still of the Drakes to Physics the Unbowed, some amazing free legendaries that you can get your hands on in Raid Shadow Legends that are absolute account game changers. But what about the Clan Shop Fragment legendary Yannica? There's a lot of debate about Yannica, man. Is she worth it? Is she worth investing those legendary skill books in and getting her fully booked out? As you can see, I've gone ahead and fully booked out my Yannica just for the purposes of this video and for running these tests. Is she busted? Is she bad? We're going to be finding out in this video, man. Before we do, if you're looking to start off a new Raid Shadow Legends account in 2025, make sure you get it done using my beginner promo link, which is at the top of the video description box, man. Be signed out of Plarium Play on your PC. Hit that link, use it to sign up and create your new raid account to grab Elnaril as your free starter legendary champion. Well, there's a whole batch of insane epic champion support champs as well as you level up your account too, man. Best beginner promo link going, and the only way that one should dream of starting a new raid account, man, in 2025. You know what I'm saying? What is Yannica all about? What do people think of Yannica? Make sure to let me know down below, man. But the in-game reviews kind of tell it all, right? They kind of tell the story. People tend to have this opinion that Yannica is this power-crept legendary nuker. Like, she's legendary, but kind of in name only. She's not that great into many areas of the game, and even the areas where the game where she's actually decent, which is generally arenas, she's just been power-crept. She's just been left behind a little bit, man. The kit is not too bad. She's got a double hit at A1 with each hit having a chance of placing Leech. Attacks all enemies 2 times instead, right? Becomes an AoE skill if Yannica is under a Veil buff, which she does bring herself, right? She buffs herself up with Perfect Veil on her A2. Attacks one enemy, place a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 3 stinking turns if this attack is a crit, and then grants herself an extra turn, which is pretty good, right? So you can book this down to a 3-turn cooldown, then you get the extra turn when you use the skill, and so it's kind of a 2-turn cooldown. Not bad at all. Also, the damage modifiers on this are pretty good, man. A 6.3 attack multiplier on this son of a gun, which, as far as like just single target attack one enemy skills go, pretty good, like slightly above average. And then finally, that brings us to a A3, which is an attack all enemies, ignore shield buffs, remove shield buffs from the targets if this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff, and deal extra damage equal to 15% of the value of the removed shields. First things first, before we give Yannica a proper test, right, we gotta gear her up in just the best gear I've got available on my account for what I can manage for the Yannica. She's unawakened, so no red stars on her. She's lacking a bit of attack, bit of crit damage and stuff as a result, but this new build that I'm gonna go ahead and put her in, 172 speed, little bit on the slow side, but it's fine. 5k attack, 300% crit damage. Her accuracy is a little bit crappy, which I'm going to go ahead and fix that if it actually becomes a problem. She does need accuracy to land like a leech debuff and stuff like that. But frankly, I just want to go in with as much damage as I can possibly get. Oh god, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and pop the free gear removal, man. Switch the gear on over. She's ready to rock and roll. Also point out as well that her A3 does need accuracy too. It removes shield buffs from targets if she's under a Veil buff, and then deals extra damage equal to 15% of the value of the removed shields, which is, it's not a small thing if you're going to be using her in PvP even as well, but I just want to see big numbers for the time being. What can I tell you? So before we get to some arena nukage and test her out there, where is Yannica actually decent? Well, in her in-game reviews, where's Fire Knight, dude? Oh my god, she's written a 3.2 in Fire Knight? Okay, Yannica's actually got a triple hitter, really triple hitter opener against Fire Knight with her A2, A1 combo. And so I'm not sure that she's actually a 3.2. She's not great either into Fire Knight, but if you need a nuker to get you through the waves and just get you to the boss and then open with a triple hitter to just break down the boss's shields, and you're cumbering up with like ally attack champions like Morag and stuff like that, I'm sure she's not that bad. Or is she? Let's put a team together. And behold, the ultimate budget Fire Knight team that's also just got a random Yannica thrown into it to speed up our kills against the waves, also help open up against the boss with the big old triple hit. We've also got Morag in this team as well, who's going to be bringing, of course, her ally attack skill as well, so hopefully she teams up with the Yannica too. Again, any kind of ally attack champ, Morag being free and available to everybody is a pretty good example. It's always going to pair up very, very well with any champion that has at least a double hitter on their A1 going into Fire Knight. So let's just do this, man. Not tested this. Hopefully it's not a total disaster. Honestly, the waves could be like the biggest problem going into Fire Knight, to be honest. So let's see how hard she hits. I'm going to go ahead and slow it down as she attacks in here. So 127k dam. That was just on the A2, that then give her an extra turn. Then she swings in with the A3 as well. So, pretty good, to be honest. It's quite the smack. Let's see how she does against the second wave. Here she comes. That's just the single target hit A1. Couple lots of 43k, so we got like 87k damage or something there total on the A1. Again, against decreased defense targets, so... And here we go, man, up against the boss itself. Now, of course, the main question that you've got to ask when you're doing this, right, and when you're like watching this review of Yannica, and something I'm trying to bear in mind is, what could she be replaced by without having to spend legendary skill books on a champion? And so she's going to get it up here with the triple hitter. She doesn't actually need to open up with the triple hitter, but she gets it done all the same, which is fine. You know, if we didn't have as many multi-hitters on the team, maybe we would have needed that triple hitter to break down the boss's shield stacks. I think the main issue with Yannica now, though, is that she's just sort of doing damage now for the rest of the fight. Doesn't bring any 10-meter control. Yes, she brings the leech debuff, but that's like the only meaningful debuff that she actually brings in leech. It's a nice to have. It's not really quite a mandatory to have to beat any boss in the game, really. And so she's just lacking a lot of utility. And so I'm kind of struggling and straining here to try and show that, oh, well, at least she's good in Fire Knight, because I can't really think of any other dungeon in the game where she really excels. She's not a very versatile legendary champ, right? She just kind of smacks stuff. And unlike a champion that you might have got for free recently, yourself, Alice the Wanderer, who also just kind of smacks stuff for the most part, you know, if you really condense it down, Alice is great without legendary skill books, right? She doesn't really need the book. She gets a lot of cooldown reset and stuff from her passive, and there are some legendary champs like this. Scylla the Drakes is another one. Get great value out of like a Scylla the Drakes without spending a single legendary skill book. Yannica, her damage and her cooldowns have a huge drop-off if she is not booked, particularly the A3. That's not to say that you have to book your Yannica. If you're just going to be using Yannica in wave content and stuff, fair enough, you know? But a lack of versatility does worry me a little bit, right? If you're going to be thinking about building out a Yannica, when instead in that Fire Knight team, realistically, something like a Royal Guard will probably do an even better job. He brings a quadruple hitter that you can open with against the Fire Knight boss. His damage against the waves is going to be a bit less than Yannica's, to be fair. He's not as amazing at clearing off waves of enemies, you know? But still not bad. But if you're really, really desperate for like multi-hitters to take into Fire Knight or something, you can just build out like any old damage dealer champion that's bringing multi-hitters on the A1. It's not that special of a thing. You know what I'm saying? Pan the Bohorn could do it, for God's sake. Maybe not as good as Yannica, but he'd get the job done. And so where Yannica really shines and what the champion is really built for is to be an arena nuker, get you off, first of all, be in a go first team, get a kill, hopefully with their A2 straight away, and then follow that up with either the A1 double hitter on an AoE, or the A3 to peel enemy shields and clap their cheeks, right? So, it's time. Let's give this a shot. Alright, man, Mr. Taras having, Mr. Mikage using, Mr... This guy's not ready for the Yannica, man. That's what I'm saying. Okay, we're gonna get the Estrid on the team here as well, man, applying some increased attack buffs. Let's go and see if we can peel off the stone skin here. Yes, dude, we're actually able to control the bloody, the goddamn UDK. Let's see if we can actually one-shot the UDK. Ooh, okay, that's pretty saucy, man. Let's just A1 now for the double AoE hit. Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Okay, so when things all come... Yannica against UDK, man, she just kind of clap him if you've got like a tool on your team for just peeling off the stone skin. It's obviously all about the bloody stone skin, which is part of the reason why Yannica's a little bit hit and miss in live arena, right? She's got all these skills, to remove enemy shields and to deal damage to enemies based on how shielded they are. The problem is, who the hell is using shield sets in arena anymore? First of all, I don't believe she's able to just remove protected shield buffs. So if people are using a bolster set in arena, then an A3 doesn't remove anything, as far as I can tell, right? Because she's not removing any shields and she's not dealing any bonus damage as a result. And the reality is everybody's moved on to Stone Skin. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do feel like Stone Skin is under threat a little bit. There is like a new artifact set on the table, of course, that allows you to deal extra damage to Stone Skin targets, which is great. Maybe that's going to make people like switch back to shield sets and bolster sets and stuff like that a little bit in live arena. But shield sets, I mean, unlikely, right? We really talk about bolster sets when you're talking about shield sets in live arena, you know? So even then, is Yannica going to do a whole lot? I'm not so sure, man. Imagine everyone just stopped using Stone Skin. I'm still not sure that would be enough to get it to see a little bit of representation, is what I'm saying. But you know, man, screw live arena. Nobody likes it, right? It's all about the classic arena, man, because you can just push the damage numbers to the absolute limit, which is what we're really here for, right? How hard can Yannica actually hit? To be honest, most people are probably using Yannica anyway in the likes of classic arena a lot more than live arena because she's more of like an early game legendary anyway, right? She's so accessible. I'm going to be talking about some of the pros that she does really well for early game accounts also in this video. And one of those things is that she just smacks pretty hard for what you've got in the early game. So let's get the increased crit damage buff up. Yannica is ready to absolutely eviscerate some nerds. Let's see if we can just one tap. Ooh. Okay, alright. 220k damage, man. Really not bad. Would have one-shotted anybody apart from a champ that gets an auto unkillable. I forget this champion's name now, to be fair. But let's try with the A1 next. Big ol' double hitter. 60,000 damage. The Arbiter actually died to the very first hit, to be honest. What was that then? Like 100k damage-ish? A1 on attack all enemies? For an A1, not bad at all, you know. We'll actually give the A3 a try in this one, I think. Let's hopefully we just remove the stone skins here. Wow, we don't remove anything, which absolutely sucks. But hey, maybe we can just kill through stone skin anywhere, man. Let's try with the A3. Oh my god, 141k damage on the poor Ancora, dude. Okay, not bad. Pretty cool. Regrettably, this team that we're up against is just going to exist and being just be annoying for a little while, but that's okay. Because now that just means that we get to do this and attack it again. Dude, the A2 on Yannica is really good. Like, that smacks, dude. 200k damage. Like, I know we're up against weakened and like we've set up this team to do the max damage possible, but even if you're only doing half that damage, that's a one tap against most champions in the game that aren't protected in arena. So if you've got like good debuff peel on your teams, right? Odin, Queen of Hearts, or even just the Fabian that you might have used recently, that's able to just peel off enemy buffs ahead of time and smack in with that Yannica A2. Dude, it is a champion deleter. I will give it that. And then you get the extra turn as well after. So to be honest, she's actually kind of impressed me in terms of her arena use. To the point where, depending on what team you put her in, and if you do want to get her fully booked up at least and like really build her out, is she like comparable to like the Alice or maybe even more powerful than Alice in the likes of arena? I'd say probably. Now, it's a bit hard to judge because everybody who got Alice also got the 5-star Perfect Soul for Alice, or at least most people did, and so the Perfect Soul makes a massive difference. But an unawakened Alice versus an unawakened Yannica, I don't think it's obvious that Alice is much better, if not Yannica just being better overall. Now, I am going to go on in and switch up the Yannica build real quick and just get her in a accuracy banner, right? Pinpoint accuracy, decent speed stats, that kind of thing. It's a shame about the flat defense rolls in this banner, by the way. Oh my god, I don't even want to look at it ever again. But yeah, I'm just going to boost up her accuracy a little bit because another area of the game where you can get some use out of Yannica is actually in Doom Tower against not the Darkfire boss. Well, she's a pretty good nuker into Darkfire for just annihilating all of like the mirror images that the boss summons. She's actually pretty good at that, but I'm going to go ahead and throw her into the gauntlet against at least like the lower level of hard mode Frost Spider. Why? Because even though it doesn't say a goddamn thing about this in the Frost Spider boss mechanics, one thing that will happen in Frost Spider is that the spiderlings will begin to take the debuffs that you're putting on the Frost Spider boss. They'll begin to transfer those debuffs onto themselves, unless the spiderlings are under a leech debuff, which, would you know it, Yannica actually brings on a A1. And so this is the team that we're going to just go ahead and run into Frost Spider, see what the Yannica can do, see how much in practice her ability to place leech is actually going to give to the team. We're also going to run Mithrala as the aura lead for increased accuracy and run a Glycad as well, who brings in increased accuracy buff to the team as well. Because frankly, you need a hell of a lot of accuracy, man, to be landing debuffs against hard mode difficulty Frost Spider. Like, we're talking like 580 accuracy or something ridiculous to take on the hardest stages of Frost Spider and be landing your debuffs against the boss. Those are all important HP bends, of course, chief among them. 580 accuracy means you're going to have to build out your Yannica with something like 400 accuracy and then run like an accuracy lead and bring an increased accuracy buff champion as well. You have to build it with quite a bit of accuracy still, you know, even if you're bringing all of the increased accuracy buffs, is what I'm saying. Which is a bit inconvenient because I feel like in most other areas of the game, if you did want to use your Yannica, she doesn't actually need the accuracy that much. I'm also curious to see, does the Yannica's AI know what her job is in this fight? Is she going to A1 the spiderlings and try and land the leech debuff? I expect her to just A2 the boss, which she does. Then she attacks all enemies. Okay, And because she attacks all enemies, the leech debuff gets placed anyway. I'm just an idiot. I was fretting over nothing. Okay, so now that the leech debuff is up on the spiderlings, does it have that much of a fight-changing impact on the fight against Frost Spider? Because for me, at least, I feel like in Frost Spider, this is the problem with this, right? I feel like in Frost Spider, you just run a bunch of, like, a couple of champions that bring HP burn, and then like 2 or 3 champs that can remove debuffs and bring some healing to the team. And the fight might take forever, but that's fine. You've only got to beat it once. You know what I'm saying? Like, getting like faster kills and stuff on Frost Spider is not exactly a massive priority. And I'm not even that sure that Yannica getting the leech debuffs up on the spiderlings is doing that much in terms of like speeding the fight up. I've never noticed the need for a leech debuff before in this fight. I've just read it somewhere. Hellhades.com, by the way, has Yannica as a 5-star champion. One of the 5-star ranking, dude, for any champion in Hell Hades. It's like, it's one of the best champions in the game for this boss. You should build it for this boss, you know? That's the way that I read it. A 5-star rating for Yannica? For Frost Spider? Why? Like, it doesn't seem that urgent to me that you build out the Yannica for Frost Spider. Maybe I'm crazy as hell, you know? Maybe I'm crazy as hell. Maybe you guys do build her out for Frost Spider. I'd love to hear about it. If Yannica was like the key to pushing your team over the line against Frost Spider, and it got you like your first Frost Spider kill or something like that, I'd love to hear about it. But for me, even just watching this fight right now, why not just kill the spiderlings? And then you don't have to worry about them. You know what I'm saying? Just kill them. Like, you don't need to leech them and then take, like, they just die anyway to random AoE damage through the course of the fight. And as long as, again, you've got a couple of healers on your team, you can't actually die against Frost Spider. It's kind of impossible. And so you just wait until you land an HP burn, and then the fight's done. So, well, there you go. I wanted to show off Yannica in this fight anyway, just because she does have that 5-star rating on hellhades.com. But I think it's one of those ratings where I disagree with it. You know, there are some of them out there. Hellhades.com is an amazing website for knowing if a champion is good in a very general sense, but I do feel like some of their champion rankings are just naturally going to go out of date over time. You know, I'm pretty sure like the Yannica scores on Hellhades have probably been up for many, many years at this point, and there are just better and easier ways to take out Frost Spider at this time, you know? Hey man, my final verdict for Yannica, busted or bad, I gotta tell you the truth, and it pains me to say this, I gotta give her bad. I just have to, okay? Now that said, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't get Yannica on your account. Obviously, you know, collect her fragments from your clan shop. Buy them every week, right? You can buy 5 Yannica fragments a week, get her ready to fuse. You can fuse this. It's just a free legendary champion pickup during like a champion chase tournament or something, and you get a huge boatload of points, and that's awesome. Like, that's great. You know, there's always value to be had on your account for fusing a free bloody legendary champion, for God's sake. You know, that sort of goes without saying. And so every account should get their Yannica up and running. That said, issue with the skill bucks, issue with using into things like Fire Knight and stuff like that. Frankly, you could build like an all-epic champion Fire Knight team that's just as effective as having like a Yannica in the team on even like an early game account, without too many problems and without having to invest any legendary skill bucks. That's like the biggest problem for me. Now, should you build her out for Arena in the early game? Again, I kind of feel like she's just not worth the legendary skill books, man. I feel like you're better off just taking any old good epic nuker that you happen to pull and building those out instead. Take like a Dark Elhain, for example. You know, is she going to be as effective as a Yannica in like early game classic arena and stuff? Not really. But if you want to build out a good epic nuker that's just very, very arena focused in a PvP build, this could be one to do it with. Am I recommending you do this, by the way? Not really, you know, hopefully you pull something better than Dark Elhain, but I'm just saying, she's going to get you to gold rank Classic Arena and allow you to farm those gold rank Classic Arena medals just as well as Yannica is. Yannica doesn't have any like super special advantage on that front. Now, it will be really, really curious if I can do this test again with Yannica, and we can give her a good try when she's in the, I forget the name of the new artifact set, dude, and it's really bugging me, man. It's that new artifact set that allows you to deal like, it's like 100% increased damage on a champion if they have that artifact set equipped to enemies that are under Stone Skin buff. And so I wonder then if a champion like Yannica can just smack so hard with this A2, because the multipliers are great on this A2. I wonder if she's in like that Stonebreaker set or whatever the hell it's called. if she's just able to just delete people that are in Stone Skin set. I'd love to run this test again in future when she's in that kind of gear and see what she can really do in live arena. Maybe I'll change my tune a little bit. But moreover, I feel like Yannica needs some buffs. I feel like Plarium need to look at this champion with fresh eyes and update her kit a little bit. You know, all they'd really have to do with their kit, in my opinion, is make it so that she does not require any accuracy at all and all of her debuffs cannot be resisted. I think that that would go a long way already, just to allowing you to just focus on 100% crit rate, high crit damage, and like high speed on the champion to ensure that she can go first a lot more often. I think that would go a long way, and that would be fine. I'm not saying I want like Yannica to be buffed to the point where she's like a crazy meta champion or something like that. Not really, you know, she's a free legendary at the end of the day, and so I don't think that she should be out of control, but I feel like she does just need like a little smibble of help just to make her a bit more appealing for early game accounts to actually consider building out, because right now I just can't see why you would put legendary books into Yannica, given that there are, free legendary champions like Vizix that you're going to get on your account after a time, you know? Even bloody Drexthar Blood Twin is well worth more putting those legendary skill books into for things like Frostbiter and like as a Hydra Provoker and as all of those things, you know? Just brings a lot more to the table and really specializes certain teams into certain fights, whereas Yannica, she's not really a specialist anywhere, to be honest. Not bad in arena though, and I was impressed by her A2, so I don't want this to come across as like a Yannica hate video. I'm actually very impressed by the A2, man. But hell, that is my 2 cents on this champion. Am I wrong? Do you get more value out of Yannica in certain areas of the game that I didn't test in this video? I'd love to hear about that as well. For now, thanks for watching, man, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Busted or Bad. Hey, man, if you're looking to start off a new Raid Shadow Legends account, make sure to do it with the free legendary champion Elnaril, as well as a whole bunch of free epic champs as you would level up your account by signing up to Raid and creating your new account using my beginner promo link, which is down below at the top of the video description box. Best possible way to start your new Raid account. And I'm going to catch all of you guys just a tad bit later, man.